Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for today. So I'll start by saying this is not a video to scare Nvidia shareholders off or to scare new investors off from buying Nvidia. Purely about information and my thoughts on the company. It's in my second portfolio, a much smaller one that I have currently. It's in a portfolio where I only have 4 stocks where I buy $100 worth of shares each and every month on a specific date, no matter what happens. You can follow that portfolio on stockcard.io. It's free to follow. It's called 4 stocks to rule them all, a bit like the Lord of the Rings. Now, obviously, I'm down heavily since I started that portfolio not so long ago, but Nvidia is one of those 4 stocks. If you want to follow that, again, link is down in the description below. And now, I don't have any plans on selling any Nvidia shares. I know the company is expensive. If you look at a PE ratio, for example, it's still above 40 or something like that. So still very expensive. Net income is coming down. We see the slowdown in the PC market. We see slowdown in the gaming segment as well. And now we've got obviously the news of US putting some sanctions on selling AI chips to China, which obviously Nvidia is doing as well. So putting more pressure on the company, putting more pressure on the stock as well. We're going to have a look at a couple of crucial numbers that might indicate how badly this can affect Nvidia's next quarter and maybe even full year results.
Know something? No soup for you!
Now, before we go into that, if you want to support this channel and myself, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to full.com/couchinvestor and check out all the other links down in the description and in the pinned comment. And by the way, I wish you all a great Labor Day weekend. So when the news got announced, obviously Nvidia made a statement of their own. So they say here on August 26, 2022, the US government or USG informed Nvidia Corporation or the company that the USG has imposed a new license requirement effective immediately for any future export to China, including Hong Kong and Russia, of the company's A100 and forthcoming H100 integrated circuits. Now with the Russia hit, we saw that already announced a quarter or two ago. They continue by saying that DGX or any other systems which incorporate A100 or H100 integrated circuits and the A100X are also covered by the new license requirement. This has a lot to do with data center chips, AI chips. The US does not want China to get an advantage over them. We will have to see what happens later on. Could be extended to maybe GPUs. So that will affect the gaming segment as well. But right now, it does not affect the gaming segment. It will affect the other ones, data center, AI. They continue by saying here, I'll jump to this phrase right here. The USG indicated that the new license requirement will address the risk that the covered product may be used in or diverted to a military end use or military end user in China and Russia. The company does not sell products to customers in Russia. This again goes into the trade war type of story, but then again, it makes sense, right? Because China, does not really let a lot of outsiders inside the company to operate inside the company, whereas the Western world always invites Chinese companies to come and do their business. Prime example, TikTok. And this is the big number right here. So the company's outlook for its third fiscal quarter provided on August 24 included approximately $400 million in potential sales to China, which may be subject to the new license requirement if customers do not want to purchase the company's alternative product offerings or if the USG does not grant licenses in a timely manner or denies licenses to significant customers. So another $400 million hit is to be expected right now, at the minimum, I should say. Now, if we dive a little bit deeper here, we can see here how much revenue comes from that region. So Taiwan, China, including Hong Kong, and then obviously we have here United States and other countries. So let's take Taiwan and China, including Hong Kong. So for Taiwan, that's $8.54 billion as for January 30, 2022, huge increase from 2021. China, including Hong Kong, that's $7.11 billion. So a huge hit if this continues and if this becomes even worse over time. Because as you can see, a lot of revenue comes from those regions right there. Now, there are obviously also tensions between China and Taiwan, so it could get even worse. Now, I know I sound extremely bearish here, but this is just the reality. Now, like I said, when it comes to the gaming segment, Nvidia sells its chips to board partners who then sell completed graphic cards to end users. Many of those partners are based in China and Taiwan, which is why I showed you these numbers, which also explains why the outside's revenue contribution comes from those areas. And so, even though the stock has taken a huge hit already year to date, it has taken a big hit after the earnings report as well, which I covered, and I said that things could get even worse. Now, I did not anticipate that this would be announced. Again, could become even worse if they go after the GPUs, the gaming segment, and they require Nvidia to have a license for that as well. Again, you have to look at both sides here. From a US standpoint, from a defense standpoint, this makes sense. Why should the US allow a US company provide China, which is viewed as a anti-America country, provide them with state-of-the-art chips that might be used by Chinese military to, well, then do whatever they want with that? It makes sense. On the other hand, if you want to have an open market, open economy, etc., well, this is obviously hitting the US company more than it should. Which then obviously we can talk about the whole story of Chinese companies being listed on the US stock exchange, directly, indirectly. Should they be delisted? Should they not be delisted? What should happen with TikTok? Because, well, we know the issue with TikTok, and yet nobody really cares about that, especially not in Europe. Nobody dares to talk about TikTok or something against China. Now, remains to be seen what happens with Nvidia. Obviously, they will have some talks with the US government to see exactly which product this will be impacted, if there are any future product that can maybe bypass this license requirement. But overall, I'm pretty certain that the US government would not want Nvidia to sell state-of-the-art AI chips to China until they can 100% verify where those chips land, which I don't think they can. And then obviously things can escalate even more with Taiwan, with China, again, with Russia as well, but Russia, they've left that market, so it doesn't really come into consideration anymore. But Taiwan is obviously a key part of all semiconductor companies, not just Nvidia. Now, when it comes to AMD, maybe they'll get sanctions as well. I don't think they will because, well, it's a bit different than Nvidia, but remains to be seen. Obviously, when this was announced, every semiconductor company has taken a hit. That's why AMD went down. That's why Nvidia went down. Well, don't have to talk about Intel because they go down regardless. And so to conclude, like I said at the start of this video, this is a video that will be where we'll sound a bit more bearish than usual because it is bad news for the company. Now, does that mean you have to sell, pack your bags and leave? No, but it does mean that you should not be jumping on a drop in stock price just because it dropped a little bit. No, the company's financials will get impacted by this a lot, as we've seen, and not just by this. We've seen the slowdown in the GPU market as well, PC market slowdown as well. Now we get hit with this news. Who knows what might happen next? And it's not like the company is extremely cheap. Far from it if you compare it to one of their competitors. But overall, Nvidia as a company is pretty strong. But right now, in the current market environment, you would like to be patient and wait. And so this will be it for this video. Obviously, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.